Welcome to RCSP Florida. Today I'm at one of my favorite South Florida locations. I'm at Kissimmee Prairie Preserve State Park, about 45 miles north of the town of Okeechobee, Florida, which is on the north end of Lake Okeechobee. It is about in the middle of nowhere as you can get in Florida. It is over 20 miles to the nearest gas station, so don't get there with an empty tank or you'll wish you had filled up sooner. This preserve, which is part of the Everglades headwaters, is the largest remaining tract of old Florida dry prairie left in the state. The term dry prairie suggests it is a dry area like the prairies in Kansas and the central U.S. This is far from the truth. In fact, a large portion of the Florida prairie has standing water on it during the rainy season. You're likely to need rubber boots or waterproof hiking boots to be able to navigate the trails. In fact, the Park Service brochure says the water can be waist deep in some areas. That means waders and not rubber boots. However, most trails can be navigated with only boots unless they have recently had a lot of rain. Most of the trails are only underwater in small areas, so you won't be walking in water for very long. There are also stands of trees that dot the landscape where there is high ground. They are basically like islands, except they are not surrounded by water all year. This habitat is home to many species of birds, wildlife, and plants. That's why I love to visit this park. It is also one of the few places to find Florida grasshopper sparrows, which is one of North America's most endangered birds. These birds are very secretive and very difficult to photograph. I tried everything I could, from calls to just waiting in the prairie to see if one would just pop up, but never saw one. That's why I'll be back, because I never give up. We took our trailer down to the campground and spent a couple of days exploring the miles of trails this park has to offer. Here is some of what we found. Here we have a white-tailed deer chowing down on some of the grass not too far from the campground. And we must have an itch. This is taken at it's HD video and it's at 120 frames per second. I'll have a mix of both 4K 30 and HD 120 to kind of show you what both look like. Watch this crow land. And 120 frames per second, it's kind of cool. Flop. And there we go. Let's straighten our wings out. We're all set now. Maybe. The doe you just saw was the mama to this little baby girl here. It's last year's baby, but they're still hanging out near mom. There's actually 3 of them, which is unusual if they're all hers to have 3 babies. Just chowing away here. And there's the mama and the baby. The other 2 babies are off playing across the road. This one's kind of staying close by to mom. And this is 120 frames per second in slow motion. It is, as you can see, almost dark. But this camera does a good job of keeping up with this. As you can see, they're hard to see when they get in the bushes. Here we have a beautiful dragonfly. A little bit of motion added in there in video. This is 4K 30. There's a beautiful red grass out there. I'm not sure what it is, but it was quite beautiful. It's, as you can see, it's pretty high. It's about even with my camera on the tripod. This looks like sea oats, but it doesn't look like the same sea oats that you see at the beach. So whether it's a different variety or not, I don't know. I'm trying to find that out, and so I'll know for next time. This is overlooking the prairie. It's a beautiful place. This is early morning. This is just after the sun rose. And I wish I'd had my graduated ND filters to kind of get that sky under control. First night we were there, this is the sunset we were greeted with. It was magnificent. You can see the God rays there, and it is just spectacular. And I wish I had been right here to take those pictures. This was the next night. This is also a dark sky location, and you can see Saturn and Jupiter there in Milky Way. What's left of it is not very much in October. This is a black swallowtail. Great egret, kind of looking over the grass, surveying the situation. This is a white ibis with the beautiful blue eyes. And a little blue heron. Little blue heron is getting ready to go perch for the night. And here's a spider web attached to one of those sea oat looking grasses. I thought that was interesting where he kind of built it in the arch of the sea oat. And the spider was in there too, as you can see in the center. Here's a pileated woodpecker. Don't see a lot of them in a lot of locations, so that was kind of interesting. Here's some lichen on a limb of one of the trees, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And look at the water droplets on this flower. It is just magnificent. There are little tiny droplets all over the stems and the leaves, or I should say petals. And my favorite bird for Kissimmee Prairie Preserve, the crested caracara. One of the few locations where you can find them on a regular basis. He was kind of looking at me saying, "What are you doing?" I caught this one on my way out of the park. He was kind enough to kind of stay around while I got my camera out of my lockbox and got out there and took a few pictures of him. Here he is again. What a beautiful bird. These are one of my favorite birds to photograph. I have quite a few favorites, however. Beautiful berries on this beautyberry tree. And I'm not sure what the blue flower is, but that's part of the red grass. I thought the red grass and the blue flower look really good side by side. This is a little bean plant. One of the local moths hanging out. And another favorite of mine, a red-shouldered hawk. I was sitting in my chair at the campsite, and he landed in this tree about, I don't know, maybe 125 yards away, and I quickly ran out there and got a few shots. And we had turkeys. Actually, the turkeys were walking around the campground. Here's a couple here, and another flower, and look at all the water droplets on it. And that is that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I post a new video, hit the bell button. Thanks for watching, and get out there and shoot. You can't learn anything new sitting in your easy chair in your living room. If I can do it, so can you.